Hello everyone. Today we will see what are variables and how to use variables in Python. So before we start our session for the day, I request every one of you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and press the bell icon so that you can receive all the latest updates and notifications that we keep posting on our YouTube channel. So without any further delay, let us start our session for the day. First of all, we will see what are variables. So variables are used to store data. Variables are used to store data that can be referenced and manipulated during program execution. So in Python, we do not need to explicitly we do not need to explicitly declare variables as it is dynamic as it will take the type according to the value that we will define. So let us take an example of how to declare variables. So over here, let us consider an example where there is a name that we have given, like v first name is equals to Abhishek. And then if we check the data type of this variable, so in order to check the data type of the variable, you have to use the type function or the type method and then just give the name of the variable that for the data type that you want to check. So if we execute this cell, so if you see the data type of this particular variable, that is v first name, is of string data type. So now let us consider another example where I am where I am declaring a variable that is v first number and I am assigning it as a value 10. So now if we check the type of this v first number, so if we execute this cell, the type will be integer data type. Similarly, let us take one more example. I am declaring a variable called as v float number example, and over here I am giving as 10.0. If we check the type of this variable, that is v float number example, and if we execute this cell, the output will come as float. So this is how you can declare, or this is how you can check the data type of the variable without explicitly defining the data type of its variable. The next thing that we will discuss over here is the variable naming convention rules. So there are various naming convention rules that you must follow while declaring the variable. The first rule that you need to follow is the variable name must start with a letter. It can be either small a to z or capital A to Z, or it can be an underscore character. The second rule that you need to follow while declaring the variable is it cannot start with a number. The third rule that you need to follow is it should contain only alphanumeric character or underscore. And the last but not the least naming convention rule that you need to follow is the variable names are case sensitive. So if you see for an example, my where and my where v of where and v of other where is capital and small. So these two variables will be considered as a separate variable name. So this is the variable names convention that you need to follow while declaring the variable. So we will see each and every point of the variable naming convention in detail along with an example. So let us see each and every point that we discussed while declaring the variable naming convention in detail. So the first point was we must declare the variable with a small a to z, capital A to Z, or an underscore. So over here, if you see, if we declare the variable as v first name is equals to Ramesh, so this will be a valid variable name. And if we declare a variable name like this, where V is capital, where the first letter of the variable name is capital, then this is also a valid variable name. But if you see the second point, if you see the second point, that is, it cannot start with a number. So if I declare a variable like 1 underscore v first number is equals to 10, and if we try to execute this cell, so it will give the error like invalid decimal literal. So which means this is not a valid variable name. The third point, that is, it can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscore. So over here, if you see, it contains only alphanumeric character and underscore. So if I give the variable name as v first or v first number 1 2 or underscore 1 2 is equals to 20, and if I execute this cell, so this is a valid variable name. So this will be considered as valid variable name. And if we print v first number underscore 12, and again we will run this cell. Okay, there is a syntax error. We have to use small brackets with the print function. Now we will execute this cell. So over here, if you see, again it has given some error like name print is not defined. Yeah, so now if we run the p of print will be small. So now if we run the cell again, so it has printed the value as 20. So this is a valid variable name. So the last part or the last point that we will see of the variable naming convention is the case sensitivity feature. So in the case sensitivity feature, we will see when we will define two variables, how those two variables are different. So if we define first variable as myVar, where v of var is capital, and we will define one more variable that is again myVar, but this time the v of var will be small. So over here, if we see these two variables will be treated as different in Python, because the variables declared in Python are case sensitive in nature. So these are the rules that we have seen while declaring the variables in Python. So the next part or the next thing that we will see is the assignment operation. So in order to do the assignment operation in Python, we will be using the equality function or the equal function or the equal operator basically. So let us declare a variable that is v first number is equals to 20. So when we use the equality operator or the equal operator, that means the assignment operation. So if we print this value, that is v first number, it will return the output as 20. So if you see, the output has been returned as 20. So this is how you can use the assignment operation in Python. So with that, we have come to the end of our video discussion, wherein we saw what are variables, how to use the variable naming conventions while declaring the variable in Python, and also we saw how to use the assignment operation in Python. So if you have any queries regarding this video, then you can raise your queries in the comment section, and I will be more than happy to answer all your queries. So before we wind up our session for the day, I request every one of you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and press the bell icon so that you can receive all the latest updates and notifications that we keep posting on our YouTube channel. Thank you all and have a great day.